Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to welcome Mike Folta back to the show. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. On my way to development camp right now down at the practice facility in Sandy. So we actually have some hockey players on the ice wearing mountain blue to look at for the first time in a while. So that's exciting. I guess summer's over.
Wait a second. We haven't got to July 4th yet. What do they do down there during this time?
Development camp, to be honest, is a lot of kumbaya, and it's like orientation week in college. Like, you go, the seniors are there leading the exercises. You kind of get acquainted with campus. You learn where everything is. Maybe you make a couple friends. That's what this is for the Utah Mammoth prospects. These are guys that have not made it to the NHL yet, and they all come and kind of learn about the facilities, the nutrition, strength programs, things like that. And they're on the ice, but it's not super competitive. Like, these guys haven't been skating a ton for the last few weeks. So it's more of a chance to get them used to the organization and introduce them to the faces that they'll be around if they do make it up to the NHL.
Yeah, I can recall. I had to do that at Seacrest Hall. My first 2 years, I went to Northern Arizona in Flagstaff, and so they had all the incoming freshmen there, and we're in the ground floor, the dorm, and the guy's talking about all the stuff that we needed to do that week, and it was the week before, and he kept talking about GPA. And I'll never forget, one of the guys raised his hand and said, "What does GPA mean?" What? Even I knew that.
Northern Arizona, where the N stands for knowledge.
Hey, that's a Nebraska joke. Way to borrow that. Very nice.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Sorry, go Big Red.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, I've worked with multiple people in Nebraska, and you want to take a shot at him, just say, yeah, the N on the helmet stands for knowledge. Nebraska fans are all like, I've heard it before. Yeah, everyone.
Oh, I get it. It starts with a K.
See,
okay, I get
good.
it now.
That's good. Well, that'll up your GPA.
Well, you guys would appreciate this. I remember my orientation at Purdue, prestigious land-grant university, by the way. My orientation at Purdue, we snuck away and played basketball. Like, me and a couple other guys,
Nice.
Snuck out of there, and we were shooting hoops to Korek for like an hour. It was the coolest thing.
A rebel even when he was 18 years old.
I'm curious why the NHL doesn't do what the NBA does. Create a summer league, go play in Toronto or Montreal, someplace where they're going to love hockey year-round for sure. It's a no-brainer. Create a little product for ESPN to put on and get to see some of these guys in a little more competitive environment. I'm sure there's a reason they haven't done that. I just don't know what it is. Do you?
I think one of the reasons is that it's summertime, and if you did that, you'd probably have 18-year-olds punching each other in the face. Because you think of training camp in the NHL, and that's an opportunity to prove yourself. And the way that a lot of guys try and prove themselves in the National Hockey League is to get in fights or to be physical or to take runs at the best players on the ice. Think of a guy like Liam O'Brien. Liam O'Brien, Spicy Tuna as he's known, he literally fought his way into the NHL with the Washington Capitals. Like, he was not on anybody's radar, and then at rookie camp, he was beating people up. And then at main camp, he was beating people up, and they never cut him because he just kept beating people up, and they're like, wait a minute, this guy's pretty good at beating people up. So that would be a hazard in the summertime when they're trying to make sure everybody's healthy.
Got it.
I like what Bill Armstrong did in terms of the trades. Now, I have no idea how's it going to be with the youngster. I know he's got good size, but, we'll see in a few years. But I'm talking about picking up a goaltender and moving up, and the Peterka trade? Just evaluate all that stuff.
Well, so we traded J.J. Peterka for those of our listeners who didn't hear, but we traded J.J. Peterka. We got a couple of first-round picks, and we flipped one of those first-round picks to Detroit for a goaltender who seemingly is ready to break into the NHL. And, guys, I had a chance to watch Sebastian Cossa. That's the goalie's name. I had a chance to watch him in the American Hockey League, and he's enormous. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw him out there in certain situations with the Jazz, and Will Hardy wants to stretch the floor a little bit because this guy is at 6'7".
Yeah.
He can move, too, though.
Right.
He's very athletic for his size. And he spent the last 3 years in the NHL in the American Hockey League with Detroit. But, guys, he was kind of log-jammed in their system. Like, they didn't have a path forward for him to the National Hockey League. Utah says, well, Sebastian, we can find a path forward to you. Come over here. He's supposed to be the number 2 goaltender this year behind Karel Vejmelka. And by all accounts, by people you talk to, goalie coaches around professional hockey, a lot of people think he is ready to make that transition. So I'm really high on Cossa, and it turns, I think, something that was a weakness for Utah, goaltender depth in the organization. I think it turns that weakness into a strength because you've got Karel Vejmelka now with Sebastian Cossa, and then you also have a guy in Michael Robel who's looking pretty good in the American Hockey League as well. So they also traded up to get their first-round pick at 17th overall, Ethan Belchez, 6'5", 230. You could line him up off the edge at Rice Eccles, and he'd look right at home. He is a mountain of a man. Kind of seems like Bill Armstrong has a type.
Yeah, he does now.
With these big boys. But a really exciting couple of days, guys.
So the thing about him is 6'5", 230 as an 18-year-old. So I'm wondering, I think most of us 18 at those orientation weekends, we all kept growing. I know PK did. I did. So I don't know. Is he going to end up playing at like 245 or something? And when is it? Because I also read that he's going to Michigan State for a year. But then in the story, and it was the writer's opinion in parentheses off to the side, and maybe 2 or 3 years. That, whoa, 3 years? Holy cow. And then AHL time, and we might not see him for 3-4 years.
Yep, and that's not incredibly uncommon in the NHL. Now, those guys come into the summertime, and they always say during camp, I want to make the team. I want to make the team as an 18-year-old. Well, it doesn't happen all that often. But Ethan is a specimen, guys. I've had a chance to meet him and interview him. He's a unit. And you mentioned it. He's headed to Michigan State, so he wasn't there this last year. Typically, the guys who play college hockey, they have a better opportunity to put on muscle with those college strength programs compared to junior hockey when they don't really have as strong of a strength and conditioning program. So I don't know if I would expect him to bulk up, guys, because one thing he shared with us was that growing up, he was kind of always the fat kid. He was a chubby kid, and I'm hyperbolizing a little bit here, but Ethan told us he always grew up big, but he still has those like small guy skills, if that makes sense. Like he's got great hands, a ton of ability in that sense. So I don't know if he's going to be playing at 240, 250. I would doubt that, to be honest. But I think his nutrition and his strength that now he gets at the collegiate level, that's going to help him be more dynamic and explosive because he's probably got to be a little bit better of a skater before he can reach the NHL, likely in a couple years.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
You want to get your backyard summer ready, but you don't want to break the bank? Wayfair gets it. Planning on dining al fresco or relaxing poolside? Wayfair has everything you need to prep your space. Shop now and save up to 70% off during Wayfair's 4th of July clearance. Score huge deals on outdoor furniture, area rugs, and more. We're talking thousands of products for every style and budget. Plus, surprise flash deals July 6th. Don't wait. Shop Wayfair's 4th of July clearance now through July 6th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Listening to Armstrong talk and his media availability, acknowledging now that they've got these prospects, but it's at least for maybe one or two of them, probably two, I would think, the time is now. And it looks like that trade opened up some possibilities. What do you forecast there?
I couldn't see that trade that sent J.J. Peterka to Boston. I couldn't see that without thinking of T.J. Ginla, because T.J. Ginla could play a similar position that J.J. Peterka was in, and the Mammoth would hope that T.J. could play it a little bit better. T.J. is a little bit more of a complete player probably than J.J. is, or at least could be more of a complete player, because he still has that scoring ability that J.J. had, but he's a little bit better in his battles, probably covers more of the ice than J.J. did defensively. So I couldn't see that without thinking of T.J. Ginla, who I think has the best chance to make the team out of these young prospects. And it absolutely does, PK, open up some space for one of those young guys, but they still have to earn it.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Bill's going to do in free agency, which opens up on July 1st. So we anticipate Bill adding in free agency, and you also have some incumbent players who are pending free agents as well. Alex Kerfoot, Kevin Stenlund, Ian Cole, Barrett Hayton's a restricted free agent. So some of those guys either need to be re-signed or let go. There's a lot that remains to be seen, but whichever young guys make the team, they will have had to earn that spot. And another guy that people aren't talking about either is Daniil Boot, who we saw for a couple games at the NHL level last year, and he spent most of the season in the minors. But he's a guy who I hope, for his sake and for the organization's sake, is ready to make the jump to be a full-time NHLer this year. But he's still kind of in that crop of prospects, if you will.
I find this trade really interesting. I think I've gotten a lot of points of it, and I'm going to kind of put out here what I know, and then you either add or subtract whether there's right or wrong or missing, okay? So the Peterka for Doan deal, on the surface, oops, don't outperform Peterka, but good pivot by the Mammoth to get 2 picks and to turn one of those picks into the goaltender they needed, and then we'll see what they do with the other pick. And Peterka might work in Boston where he didn't work in Utah, and the thing that I've read that makes sense, having watched the team and listened to you call the games, is that Peterka couldn't get on the top 2 lines and stay there. And when you don't do that, you're probably not getting a lot of time on the power play. And when you don't do that, your numbers are going to suffer. And it's not going to match your rep, your salary, your expectations. And a guy like Peterka is too good to exist on the 3rd and 4th line with his rep and his paycheck and all that. So they needed to move him, and they do have multiple youngsters coming up, T.J. Ginla first, but some more behind that, and those guys need the spots on the 3rd and 4th line. They couldn't afford to have Peterka there. Does all of that make sense to you? Am I missing any parts of it? Is there something that needs to be added or subtracted?
As always, DJ, you are all over it. That's pretty much exactly what happened. And look, JJ is a super talented player, but think of Darren Peterson. You wouldn't deploy him as a role player, right? Like he's got to have the ball in his hands. And JJ has a ton of skill, really good hockey player, ton of speed as well. But playing on the 3rd line was not the best fit for him. He was brought in, guys. He was brought in to play with Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley, and he did that early in the season. They had flashes of brilliance because they have so much skill, but it was not the right fit. It's kind of like the saying from the movie Miracle and Herb Brooks with the 1980 Olympic team. We're looking for the best players, or we're looking for the right players. We're not necessarily looking for the best players. And JJ just wasn't the right player to fit in Utah's lineup. And I commend Bill Armstrong for quickly pivoting and recouping as much value as possible. And when you look at the trade tree, you essentially are giving up Michael Kesselring and Josh Doan for 2 first-round picks or for a first-round pick in Sebastian Cossa. And when you look at it that way, I think organizationally, guys, the Mammoth valued Doan and Kesselring at about that price, at about a first and a second-round pick. Well, they got a first and a second, or they got 2 firsts for J.J. Peterka, so they actually increased their value. Now, if everything went right, then J.J. Peterka would still be a Utah Mammoth and still be a key part of this team.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the right fit. Armstrong pivots, and now the Mammoth kind of rearrange some of that value. And, guys, you have almost $8 million more in cap space to work with, $21 million in total, so you have a lot more flexibility now after the move.
Yeah, well, no GM is going to bat 1,000. It just doesn't work that way. And, I've heard many guys say, okay, you make a move, and it's good, it's bad, whatever it might be, and assuming for the sake of argument that it's not a great move, well, don't make it worse by trying to continue with it, as you say, pivot and get off of that. And the thing that I'm taking in just this last week or so, well, since the weekend, is that Armstrong, and he's had examples of this, but I think this past weekend might be the best since they've been in town, is that he's not afraid to be bold and make moves. And, you're not going to always be perfect, but you've got to be bold in order to get better. And at least he's willing to try that. So I have a level of confidence in his boldness that more things will work than don't.
Yeah, and I think this organization with Bill Armstrong and Chris Armstrong as the president of Hockey Ops, they want to be aggressive. And what do they tell you in football? Like, if you're playing linebacker, if you're gonna fail, like fail at full speed, fail coming downhill, right?
It's
like
a story
fail
of my
being
life.
aggressive.
Yeah.
At least the first part, right? but if they're gonna fail, they want to fail forward. And I think the idea is that if you keep taking these intelligent, calculated swings, you might strike out here or there, but if you keep swinging hard, you're going to leave the yard at some point.
The DJ likes to say with me, it's throwing enough stuff against the wall that something sticks.
That's right. I think it's a little bit more calculated than that, but that's the idea,
Ooh,
right?
Me or
like
Bill?
When you keep taking these chances.
Bill, 100% Bill. I stand by this throwing stuff against the wall thing. Oh, man. I do think the thing there that I left out, I'm glad you mentioned it, we need to underline this, the $8 million in cap space. I meant to mention that when I was running through everything, and I didn't. And that $8 million, you can NHL payrolls, you can get a really good player for $8 million. Now, whether that's taking on a lot of salary in a trade or signing a free agent, but we not only need to say, okay, here's the players they gave up, and now here's the players they eventually got after multiple more deals, and we're still waiting another draft pick out there. But we also have to analyze that cap space, what they do with that.
Yeah, and I think the temptation is to just want to go out and sign the biggest free agent. But we remind people every year that's not really Bill Armstrong's MO. In free agency, his strategy has been kind of to nibble around the edges and fill roster needs. As opposed to going out and making the sexiest splash. Bill says this a lot. You don't want to be the team that wins the offseason and then looks foolish in the regular season. So I wouldn't expect – and it's not a great free agent class as well. So I'm glad that, DJ, you mentioned, the trade route where you can acquire a big player via trade, because that's more – likely, in my opinion, to happen than just signing a big free agent. But also consider this, guys. You are going to have a couple years of these young hotshots on their entry-level contract, which is great. And a lot of good teams are good because they have good players on entry-level contracts. But at some point, what's the saying? These hens are going to come home to roost, something like that. Yeah. Like, you're going to have to pay these good players. And if T. Ginla is the player that you hope he's going to be, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And if Dmitry Simashev and Daniil Boot and Cole Baudouin and Caleb Denoye, and if all these young guys are the good players that you hope they're going to be, you're going to have to pay them a lot of money. So you want to be very judicious about how you hand out salaries, especially right now, because those young guys are going to need big contracts.
You know, DJ does the soccer play-by-play, and he's converted. You know, it's 0-0, it's draw, all this lingo. I'm wondering, you as an American, have you converted and call it instead of organization?
Well, which one's hockey? Organization?
Well, I think the Canadians, like Armstrong, it's always organization. And I'm just wondering, since you're around these Canadians so much, do you say organization or do you stick with the American pronunciation, organization?
Purdue, it's one syllable. You just say club.
I think in the summertime, I'm pretty down the middle. But you talk to me again in February, and I'm going to be phoning in. Oh, hey, boys, how's it going? Like, organization's doing great.
So they do get to you over time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So
now in the break, I'm going to YouTube to watch the McKenzie brothers. Nice.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Mike, we appreciate it. Hit him right down the middle here for the rest of the summer, because summer isn't over no matter what you think.
All right.
Okay.
Pray and pray, baby.
There
That's how I roll.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mike Folta, Utah Mammoth radio voice, joining us here on The Zone. When we come back, everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.